Good evening, and welcome to Ask the Plasterer with me, Eric the Plasterer. Good evening, everybody. No intro tonight because I think people see this about 4 or 5 minutes to go and they go, "Oh, I can't be bothered to wait." So I'm just kicking straight off. Hopefully you can hear me. I haven't twiddled about on the computer for the last couple of weeks. So, it should all be working well, and hopefully you can hear me. But I'm sure you'll let me know in a little while if you can't. Hi, I'm Eric the Plasterer. For anybody that's new here, this is Ask the Plasterer, where you can ask me any plastering-related questions. I'm a plasterer from South East London, and I've been plastering for 36 years, nearly 37 years now. So that's what tonight's about. Good evening, all more regular viewers in Tellyland, YouTube land, whatever you want to call it. Dear. In a minute, I'll change the screen so you can see the phone number, because apart from also being able to type and you'll be able to see what's on the screen, you will be able to ring the studio and talk to me live, yes. But there's a bit of a time delay, so if you're watching this on the TV, you will need to turn your telly down when you ring in. Okay, right, let's move across. See if anybody's in. Here we go. It's a phone number. Oops, across the bottom for anyone that's not seen it before. And up the top here, 07516 214 983. 07516 214 983, and you can ring. Good evening, diggity da. I'm very good, mate. I hope you're good as well. James, nice to see you, mate. Yep, I'm really well, mate. The weather's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's a bit, it's a typical British summer. Not bad for rendering, as long as the rain holds off. It's a nice temperature for that, but hello, we're off early tonight. Hello, it's calling.
Hello, Eric, it's John.
Hello, John, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, mate, all good.
Good. What can I do for you?
Yeah, wonder if you could help me. I've got a job coming up, quite a few seedings.
Yeah.
Very small bit of arctics on them, right. Just a slight stipple.
Okay.
What is the best process on that?
I mean, for me, you've gone over Artex before or not?
Yes, I have, yes.
Yeah. For me personally, I put up a neat coat of PVA and let it dry completely. I don't do it when it's tacky and all that malarkey. And then, though a lot of the guys do this magic mix thing where they mix, half bonding, half finish. Yeah, that's it. But I think one of the guys did a seeding last week, and he used the magic mix, and whatever the 因was with it, halfway through doing it, it started to drop, like bubble up and just drop down and peel off. Because you're doing that whole thing in one go, you're doing this magic mix, then you're putting a top coat on it while the whole lot's still really soaking wet. I always, just because I've always done it that way, I just bond it with bonding, and I rule it off with the speed skim.
Speed skim, yeah.
And then I just let that pull as soon as it's tight enough that you can put a skim on it. Sometimes I let it go completely dark. Depends how big it is and what else I'm kind of trying to sort out in the meantime. Yeah. And as soon as that's gone, then I'll just go straight over it with my couple of sets. And,
okay. The other thing is, because there's there's about 7 or 8 ceilings in there to do. It's a whole house.
Oh, nice one.
I don't know whether just to hit all the ceilings, just PVA all the ceilings, have a day just, floating all the ceilings.
Yeah.
And just, when I've done before, just beveled float them, just, slight key on them, then go back and start setting the next day. Yeah,
well, so you're talking about hopping into each room and just bonding all the ceilings out first and then setting them all the next day? Okay. Yes. If I set any bonding on the ceiling the next day,
it's nice to go on it.
Yeah, well, I
that day.
I go if you go on it that day, you can just go straight on it. If you go on it the next day, you're looking at PVA in it again or seeing it.
Yeah, that's right.
Otherwise, the skim just starts pulling too quick.
Yeah, just too much suction.
Yeah, but if you give it again, if I do that, then if they're all dry, then I'd give them all a coat of PVA because by the time we've done the last one, the first one will probably be dry.
Yeah, that's it.
And then if you don't mind hopping around the rooms, then I'd do it in that kind of order. Yeah. Yeah, and it gets all the lids out of the way. Yeah,
that's it. But if you do go on the next stage, you just go straight again. Need PVA or
if I sorry, mate, run that by me again.
Yeah, sorry. If you was to like float all the ceilings one day, just floating all the ceilings, and you think, right, next day I'm gonna set all the ceilings.
Yeah.
Would you go on them with neat PVA?
Yeah, again, I'd hit them all with a neat coat of PVA, and again, I'd let it go right off.
Yeah,
and then I would skim them because that's what I've always done, and I've never had a problem with it. I know other guys have got different techniques, and whatever they're happy to do, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah,
but that for me, and then I know I'm not going to have any issues with anything coming down, or if it is going to come down, then it's going to come down with that bit of bonding, and you've got to sort that out before you can put a skim on it.
Yeah,
rather than trying to hit the whole thing.
Because the other thing is, with the Artex, I just do not, as you get older, I just do not like scraping them back.
I don't scrape them at all anymore, mate, because there's the asbestos thing. I mean, I used to, and until I kind of found out it wasn't a good idea. I think they've only got a minuscule amount of asbestos in the ones that have, but it's not good to be making. Yeah, it's not good to be making the dust and breathing it in.
No, that's right.
If the stipples are ridiculously big, then I just tell the client it's an overboarding job.
Yeah, that's it. No, as I say, they really are fine.
Yeah. Now if they're fine, mate, then
slight stipple.
Yeah, bonding will go over them, no problem. I mean, some spreads would a couple of thick coats of skim on it, but I never do that either. Again, it can be.
And you've always got that chance of them sort of grinning through it.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I think I don't know if I've ever actually tried it, but I have seen it where someone's trying to do that and it does grin through it. There's a little bit of a high point in it, and you sort of think, oh, hang on, you can see that through. And of course, when they paint it, then it'll really stand out. If that is that.
Stand out, yeah.
So, but the bonding, you've got it well covered, mate. And I haven't devilled the ceiling up for donkey's years either. I mean, because you're getting that extra key, which I can't argue with that. But the chemical bond between the two is so strong that the only time I've had any ceiling come down from early days was when initially I haven't put enough or a decent coat of PVA onto the Artex, and then I've bonded it, then I've skimmed it, and then the whole bloody lot fell down. But in between, if I've done a good job of getting the bonding up there, and then without deviling it up, and then I put skim over the top, never had any comebacks whatsoever.
Right.
So
that's good.
But it just saves you. I mean, if obviously if you like deviling them up because it helps you flatten them out a bit more as well, and you're used to doing that, mate, then do it. But
that's it.
I just think, for me, it's just an extra job. I'll whip the speed skim over it.
I had a few years back, 7 or 8 years ago, quite a run of Artex ceilings. Then I've had nothing, going on them for. So I don't know if you lose a little bit of confidence going over them.
No, it shouldn't do, mate. It's a fairly fine stipple, and your bonding's mixed up to a decent consistency. It goes over, no problem.
Goes over.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike, mate. As soon as you get your first trail on, you think, it's a dog. Nothing to worry about.
Are you busy yourself, Eric?
I am, mate. I've had a little bit of time off.
You had a week off the other week, didn't you?
And only thing is, I take a week off, mate. I really don't want to go back.
Yeah,
but fortunately, there's quite a few jobs coming in. I have had there was quite a big one I was meant to be doing, but they've kept me up to date. Sort of, they were waiting for skirting and stuff to come in, and other stuff they wanted to do before the plastering was done, which I don't have a problem with. And it's gone like, we're waiting for it. Oh, it's turned up, but it's damaged, so we've got to send it back. So it's going to be a delay. So I say that's fine because I'm busy anyway. But at some point, and a few of the other jobs I've been looking at this week, the people have gone like, we'll be ready in about 2 or 3 weeks. But that's been nearly all of them.
And
I'm thinking, they're all going to come back to me.
Yeah, it's just manic at the moment. I'm just trying to keep everyone happy, and
yeah, I mean,
I'm just a fool myself really because I'm working, 7 days a week.
Mate, that's what I won't do it. I'll kind of put people. I will work my calendar on the 5 days, and even if there's plenty coming in. I mean, a guy that I looked at his job the other day, and he wanted it done sometime. Well, initially he said sort of beginning of August or thereabouts, which I knew I couldn't do the beginning anyway. And I went through my diary and stuff that's coming that I've now booked, and I thought I can't start it till about the 1st, 2nd of September. And I said, look, mate, I can't do it till then, unfortunately, because he accepted the price. And he was, oh, no, that's fine, because it gives me, they were going to go away first anyway, and it gives them time to organise it. So, I was thinking, I might lose it off the fact he might want to get it done in a hurry. And I said, I understand if you want to try and get someone to do it quicker.
Get someone else,
But that's turned out all right.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? Because I gave something similar the other week. I gave, priced up the job, gave him the price, didn't hear no more from it.
Yeah.
Then I got a text from him today. Okay, when are you okay to start?
Yeah, right.
It's sort of like, panic.
Well, some of them it's kind of like you expect them to, there'll be a little gap before they want you to do it. And I go to those types of jobs, and I say to people, oh, when do you want it done? Especially when it has been a bit quiet, which hasn't been lately. And I'm hoping, if they want that done next week, and they go, oh, well, next couple of months, will you be busy? And I think, flipping hell. Well, I'm not busy next week. And other jobs, like, you kind of think, oh, yeah, I can't put it in quite yet. And they're kind of like, cool, can you start Monday? You think, no.
Yeah.
But it's always that kind of swings and roundabouts, mate. And the feast
I've just got to knock the weekends on, got to knock the weekends on the head.
Yeah. How old are you now, mate? I think you told me before.
I'm 54.
Yeah. I'm nearly 50. I'm 59 September. Yeah. Who's me? I'm getting old. I'm now pushing 60. Sugar.
Yeah,
mate. In your 50s, man, you got to give up the weekends.
You've got to give up the weekends.
Yeah. I mean, life's too short, mate. Life's too short.
It is. You're a long time dead, as we dad
You're a long time dead, exactly, mate.
Yeah.
He's a wise dad.
That's it, yeah. Right, lovely, Eric. Thank you
cheers,
much.
mate. Nice one for ringing in. Nice to get the show off to a good start. I know I can catch up with whoever's been typing on the other screen.
Lovely.
Right, cheers, John.
Great work.
Thanks, mate. Will do.
All the best.
And you.
Cheers, Eric.
Yeah, let us know how you get on with them ceilings, mate.
I will do.
Nice
one.
Definitely.
Thanks, Eric.
All right, cheers, John. Ta-da, mate. Ta-da. Right, where are we? James, I'm good. Jordan, hi, Jordan. I'm really good, mate. Chucky, evening. Swayze, I'm keeping good, mate. Keeping good, keeping busy. Weather's more comfortable now, though it's a bit miserable. Matthew, hi, Matthew. Chucky, what's that? So all I seem to do is cover Artex. There's so much Artex still out there. I mean, it was such a massive thing in the 70s, and people, Joe Public were doing courses, weekend courses in Artexing, and everyone was Artexing their houses. So there are thousands of houses still out there that haven't had their Artex covered, that the people will go, you know what, I'm fed up with the sight of this. So that's all work, mate, so don't knock it. I'm doing really well. Hi, Silver. Lead. Hello, mate. Yeah, I'm good. James. I'm 20. I wish I was 29 again, James. I've given up weekends now. 5 days of life. A wise man. I mean, you're 29 now, mate. If you stop doing weekends, then your other joints will last a lot longer. And you'll be fitter. And you'll enjoy life more. And, there's more to life than the money. But, hey, it's nice to have some money. But there's nothing worse than that, working 7 days a week, getting plenty of money in the bank, and then you ain't kind of got the time to spend it. And other times, if work has ever been quiet, then fiddling your thumbs, but you ain't got no money to spend on anything. So life can be cruel. Dear. But right. So, we cooked off to a good start tonight. I was expecting John to ring in like that. So top man, John. Thanks again for that, mate. Appreciate it. The PVA worked a treat. Lee, brilliant. Still shocked how it works, but it was all good. I only know it works because I've used just the PVA for so many years. I mean, some of the other gear, I don't know. How can it? I don't know how certain stuff can be a bit better. And some of the jobs I've looked at where the guys have done it, covered it all in blue or red grit, or whatever it is. Just kind of think, oh, what's that? You know, it's all over the wall. That's a funny old colour. The guy goes, oh, it's blue grit or it's red grit or whatever. Posh PVA with sand in it. No, that's what it is. And more expensive. SBR. I mean, SBR for certain jobs might. I don't know from experience because I never use it unless the client just happens to have bought it and I'm using that. I've never turned around and said to myself, well, that SBR's a lot better than the PVA I normally use, but I haven't. I'm sticking with me £8 gallons or 5 litres, the uninitiated, of a cheap PVA. Yeah, or the Everbuild I've been using recently because you can get that on the old Amazon, which is great. Eddie, evening, mate. Oh, you haven't missed anything. Yeah. Lava and plaster walls. Do you board straight over? Oh, sorry, mate. You just jumped up a bit. Plaster wall. You board straight over. Yeah. Work the odd Saturday morning. I don't even do Saturday morning. Can't. I have to be really pushed for a customer I know really well that's really desperate to do a Saturday or a Saturday morning. Dear. Sorry, I don't want to lose me thread. Sorry, Eddie. Love and plaster walls. Yeah. Do I? Board? Yeah, I board straight over. Straight over. Don't take nothing off unless it's really had it. I mean, I looked at a job this morning and. That was, I thought it'd be a lava and plaster wall because they said all the plaster's coming off, and it was a petition wall off of a lounge, big old Victorian house, and it was brick, and the plaster was literally just falling off from it. But it was only about not even half an inch thick, so that probably has something to do with it, and the fact it's probably about 100 years old. So yeah, but I bought straight over those, mate. Anything that saves putting stuff down or making more mess. Costing more money for you and or the client when you try to keep your price like reasonable. Hang on, guys. Getting busy is great. It just means for me, I'm not the fastest reader in the world. I have to catch up. A few James. Jason. Alright, Jason. Evening, mate. Do you get plasterboard reveal edges dry too fast when beaded and skinned? Do you wet them? 9 times out of 10, I don't put any PVA or anything on them. If there's some plasterboard showing off the side of a bead, I might put a bit of PVA on it just to kill that suction on it, but it's never caused me a massive issue. 9 times out of 10, the bead's covering the edge, and although it's dry, it's absolutely fine. But if it helps you, there's nothing, it's not a big deal to whack a bit of PVA over any dry edges of plasterboard that you're going to be skimming over. Just, won't do any harm at all. So, yeah, I don't normally do it, mate, but... go ahead and whack a bit of PVA over it. Jason Chatley, PVA is all I've ever used. Well, there you go, mate. Give me both. And touchwood, never had a problem. Yeah, Chatley, as I say, I've been using it. I've been an advocate of neat PVA as well for a long time. I think years back, when I've used watered down PVA, the only time I ever had an issue with something is where I've obviously watered it down too much, or it wasn't enough, or it seemed to be taking longer to dry because the amount of water compared to PVA in the mix, and spending time putting 2 coats of, letting the coat dry and then putting another coat on. And some people have said, well, the second coat kind of wets down the first coat, so it's not really doing 2 coats. So nice, neat PVA is the way to go. Let it dry and then crack on. Yeah, put your PVA on, let it go. Put your scrim on, put your beads on, and then hit it. Lovely. Get it bashed out. And if it's not too big an area, whack some half-time in it so it goes off twice as fast. Hi, Jordan. Just bought the Marshalltown squeegee. Oh, I've seen them. I haven't used one. Brilliant for flattening your first and second coat of skin. Was a bit sketchy about it at first, but flattens it like a dream. Nice one. How much was that, Jordan? Do you mind popping that up on your next bit of typing there? Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of videos with guys using those. They do kind of like, I do kind of think, oh, I might having a go with one of those. But I mean, you could spend a fortune and keep buying different tools. And I know some spreads out there have whole collections of trowels and what have you. But I've got my Marshalltown for laying on. I've got me Ox Ultraflex for me final coat and me speed skims for in between. But yeah, at some stage, and when I remember, and I've got a couple of quid, I might give the old squeegees a go and give them a try. Rodney, Rodney. When you're doing internal rendering, do you have to sponge it? Sorry, Rodney, I'm getting old, mate. When you're doing internal rendering, do you have to sponge it like when you're doing? No. There's a short answer. You need to get it ruled off to your level, devil it up with plastic float to rub it up and compress it, fill in any little voids that might be there, and give it a nice key with you probably know, but for any novices or DIYs that are watching, plastic float, deviling up, you stick basically a little screw in it. Only some guys put 3 or 4 screws in. I just stick one in the corner, put it in tight enough so the point just sticks out a bit. So when you're rubbing up the wall with the float, scratches, patterns in it, circles, figures of 8, whatever, for a key for your top coat. But no need to use a sponge on it, mate, because you're going to be covering it in a set, unless you're going to leave a sand cement finish internally. Then I would finish it off with a sponge. Yeah, but that's really the internal that wasn't going to have a skim over the top of it. Jordan, only problem is it's another tool to carry about. That's true. That's true, mate. So many customers just don't appreciate how much gear and tools you have to cart in and out of their house. I mean, if they've had plenty of plastering done before, then they probably do. But people generally, they sort of like can't park anywhere near their house. They live at the top of a flat that doesn't have a lift, and they're kind of like, well, what's your problem? Think, oh, if only you knew. Trying to get this stuff and the gear into your actual property before I even start doing the plastering. So many times I've not priced that into a job. I've kind of know it would be a bit awkward. I think now I can sort that, but you should have a bit more on for the time it's taking you to get your gear in, and then getting all your gear back out again, back to wherever your motor is. Sometimes if a job's impossible to get your van anywhere near, I blow them out, or I kind of, I don't quote on them because if I can't park my car to quote, how on earth am I going to park it to do the job? Right, I'm sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, aren't I? Lee, so with PVA, would you still jump on the wall the next day after you day before? Yeah, I have. I've said a few times on here. One of the guys, a subscriber, Lee, not the Lee that's here tonight, another Lee. He had loads of. He was trying to do quite a bit himself, but he had about 7 rooms in a bungalow to do that he bought, and I went and did that for him. But I got him to PVA everything for me because I was doing it on a day rate, and so all I had to do was go in, stick my beads on in each room, and skim them. And so we did a whole bungalow, and no problems. I still speak to Lee, and he hasn't gone, oh mate, I'm having issues with your plastering. Thank heavens. So yeah. If I could get a whole house PVA'd ahead of time, then I would just go in and hit each room as and when. I wouldn't worry that the PVA's been on there a day been on there a week. If it's on there and it's set, it's doing its job. It's sealed the original plaster, and it's there for that bond that Finish just likes to stick to. Dear. So yes, mate, that should answer your question. Brainwashed, am I? Oh, sorry, mate. What? Looking at battery mixers, 110 boxes, break your back humping them about. Yeah, I'm assuming, I'll just call you brainwashed for short. That's not very short. I'm assuming you're working on site then if you're using 110s and having to hump a transformer around. If you are doing a lot of site work, then obviously battery operated mixers are a godsend. Just got the mixer. The DeWalt and a couple of other brands are getting really good reviews. They've got a lot of torque. The batteries seem to last a distance, and yeah, but I'm pretty sure they're coming in at about £600 or £700 area, which yeah, because I work mostly, and quite a lot of the guys work domestics. You kind of think, yeah, I've got me Rafina Mega Mixer, I can just plug it in, but of course it's a 240. I haven't got a round a flipping very big chunk of metal to knock the voltage down. But but yeah, look at mixers brainwashed, and if you do get one, jump back on here or on the old hang on a minute, on the old Discord server, which I'm sure you're probably a member of already, and if you're not, get onto it. There's a link in the descriptions of all of our videos, and just click on that and you'll get an invite to the community, and you can chat with me and any of the other guys anytime that you like. Yeah, you can put up a review on there, mate, or next time we're on doing Master Plasterer live stream in a couple of weeks' time, 7 o'clock. Come on then and type something up there, or give us a ring and let us know what you made of the old battery mixer. How much you coughed up for it. Sure. Right, for anyone that's new, that's not been here before, I am Eric the Plasterer. I've been a plasterer for 36 years, and I get fed up of saying that. Makes me feel the age that I am. And yeah, any plastering related questions that you've got, you can ask, whether you are a time served spread, whether you are a novice, a DIYer. I have got a DIY series I'm working on coming out. Not anytime soon, but fairly soon. Trying to fit stuff in and work for a living. It's, it would be good. I'd love to sit indoors and make videos all day instead of going to work. Currently, I don't think it would pay the bill. Dear. Lee, do you think when the PVA is dry and when you put the first coat on, it reactivates it to make it stick? It might do, mate. I don't know the science of it. It's one of those things where you know it works, don't necessarily know how it works. You don't have to know how it works as long as it works. So, but yeah, it might do. It might reactivate when you put the your skim on it, but reactivate just right for getting an even better key than you might do anyway. But I just find it's using neat PVA. It's cheaper. It's quicker, putting on one neat coat. And generally, this year I find I've had no problems with drying fairly pronto. And because I tend to PVA everything first, when I come to putting my fiberglass tape on anywhere, over any cracks or whatever, sticks like a dream. And also, when I am sticking, which I do a lot, my beads with the old mitre glue, that sticks a lot better as well. I think if everything's PVA'd first, so as I say, I PVA everything neat, let it dry, whack the beads on, whack the scrim on, and you're good to go. Just crack on, get the job done and get paid. Yay! And then on to the next one, but not the same day. Have at least like the evening off and start another job the next day. Or if you're anything like me, you'll allow time to allow a gap. Think, well, I'm going to allow this long for the job, which is probably a day longer than I need to if it's a big job, and it gives you a bit of breathing space if you do get held up, or just to get you some gear in. And if you've got a day off, then you can go and get the gear for your next job rather than having to get to wherever you're buying it from if you ain't got any stacked in your garage at the crack of dawn, and then getting to the job and then trying to get it bashed out. And if a job, you can do a job in it as a 2-day job and you've got a decent enough price to do it over 2 days, though you could do it in one if you went like crazy. And then, unless you are crazy, then spread it over 2 and just chill out a bit more and enjoy the whole the artistry plastering rather than just killing yourself to get it done. Dear. Toby, evening Toby. Using Easy Mix, do you put in base coat and top coat or just one pass? If you're talking about just finish, Toby, then I put, because I generally knock up enough finish to put my first coat on and then water down the stuff that's starting to thicken up in the pot for my second coat. So it's all going off at the same speed, so you won't get any delaminating. Not that tends to happen nowadays anyway, because your sets aren't separate and drying and then you're sticking another set on the top. You are banging the two on together, and there's no reason for not doing that. If you can keep up with the speed that when you remix it goes off at. But I have found, since I've been using Easy Mix the extra time, that even when you re-water down the first coat in the pot, it still stays softer for longer. So you have got a bit more time to get your first coat and second coat on. But I don't normally knock up a fresh batch. Also, because knocking up a fresh batch for your second coat means the job's going to take you about an hour longer than it should, in my experience. And I was taught that your second coat is done by watering down what's left of your first. Whether that was right or wrong at the time, but it was I was taught back in the day by proper geezers with traditional plasterers. So that's just what I've always done. And I've done one coats before as well that I've ruled off and troweled up, and they've come out beautiful. There is no technical reason that I know of, apart from spending more money on more plaster, which pleases British Gypsum no end. That you need to put on specifically 2 separate coats and let one go off and then mix up a fresh one is, for me personally, it's just pointless. But each to their own, and whatever you're happy doing, you do that, or you can try some of my techniques, and most guys find out that they work quite well. But if you don't like them, then just do whatever makes you happy when you're out there on the job, because you've got to do it every day. So you might as well, do it the way you like to do it, if it's working well for you. As I said before, nothing I say is you must do it this way, and if you don't do it this way, you're doing it wrong. Because there isn't any wrong unless you're doing something ridiculous and it's not working and it's coming out rubbish, and then there'd obviously be a reason for that. But we'll let you know. Oh yeah, cheers, Brainwash. Yeah, let us know. And hey, I can't keep going with the box. I'm on my own. Sorry, mate. I can't keep going with the box. I learned to read one day. I'm on my own, not site, but plastering insulated boards for benefit tenants, 5 stories up. Some. Okay, mate. So yeah, I do. Matthew, what's your tips for surviving a recession? Do mini cabin. It's bloody horrible. That's what I had to do. But God, that was years ago. I I think I've lived through at least 2 recessions where like plastering sites just shut. I think I don't know if it was the 90s one or slightly earlier one than that, but and the ones in between ain't been quite so bad. But yeah, and I did mini cabbing. Fortunately, well, at the time, rather than because there was no sat nav or nothing, I literally had to have an A to Z book. So when I found out where a customer wanted to go, which hopefully the control guy would tell me, I could quickly look it up in my book. I mean, now that's trying the life out of me, trying to find something that fast and then be able to follow it. I think I used to ask people. That's the way I go, but you know where you're going, mate? Exactly. Oh, it just directs me. It'll probably be quicker, your route. But they did. I didn't have to go to pubs and clubs and pick people up, which used to be a bit dodgy. Well, I don't think there's no mobile. Did I have a mobile phone then? I think I might have had a mobile phone. And they didn't do pubs and clubs, but you had to do a 12-hour shift. And so you could do 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening, or 9 till 9. Whatever, they were horrible shifts. Absolutely knackers you. You get really fat because you just stop when you can, stuff your face with pie and chips from the chippy. And yeah, wrecks your motor. And yeah, but it brought in a crust, which at the time there was just absolutely no plastering at all. And so yeah, that's what I did to survive recession. I mean, guys now they try and get jobs doing the deliveries, because delivery's a big thing now, isn't it? Like grocery deliveries. McDonald's, work at McDonald's. You just do what you have to do to get through them until things start picking up again. Yeah, and I mean, I'm still at it. I've still been plastering since I was 24. Yeah, give or take a few months. And now I'm pushing 59, so, and yeah, I got through it. At the time, it's you kind of think, oh, man, this ain't good, but you know, what choice have you got at the end of the day? Yeah. Cheers, Toby. Nice one, mate. Right, I'm Eric the Plasterer. For anyone that's just joined us, you can ask me any plastering related questions that you like, or you can ask any of the other regular guys that come along to Ask the Plasterer live stream every other Monday from 7 o'clock. We go on till about 8:30. Otherwise, I could just waffle all night. You can ring in to the studio on this number down the bottom of the screen there, and at the top 07516 214 983, 07516 214 983, and have a chat with me live. If you're watching this on telly though, you need to turn your telly box down because of the time delay. Other than that, it's cool. If you're doing this on your phone and watching, then you probably won't be able to ring me because you have to come out of YouTube to do it. You think, it's not worth it. Dear. Matthew, have you ever had an apprentice? I only kind of, when I first started out, labourer come apprentice, you kind of like take a guy on as a labourer that wants to do plastering and take it from there. And helped a couple of guys out that worked with me for quite a while and taught them the basic skills, and actually surprisingly how quick they want to go off on their own, which was absolutely fine. Wasn't a problem for me. And then I say when I got a whisk, kind of didn't have labourers anymore. And if you used to take someone on, because it was kind of mostly kind of cash work, wasn't a problem. And if they were rubbish, you could just go, look, mate, forget it. This ain't working. Now, if you take someone on fresh, especially from an apprenticeship point of view, there's lots of legal requirements that used to be, and you have got certain responsibilities. You can't just take a guy on and then get shot of him 5 minutes later just because he's rubbish. Or you could, but it's more awkward. So yeah, I haven't say early days for me. I did help a couple of guys out, but yeah, it wasn't my forte. I mean, I don't mind teaching things on video or doing the odd one-to-one with people now that want that, but generally, yeah, that's as far as I went with where apprenticeships are concerned. Sorry, mate, my writing is a trope. Oh, mate, brainwashed. You're writing and mine's be on the same path, so I wouldn't worry. Paul, hi Eric. My walls feel flat, but the finish is uneven. I'm going to try using. I think I've gone. My question is, would adding sand to PVA help a lot? Thanks. Paul, the only time I would add sand to PVA is if I'm going to plaster over something that really needs a good key. If I've also mentioned before, I did plaster or rendered a porcelain sink in someone's garden that they wanted to use as a planter. They said, "Can you render a porcelain sink?" And I thought, not really sure, but I think this is before blue grit was invented, to be honest, or red grit. And I mixed sand in PVA, and I used that on the porcelain sink. I literally put sand and cement on it, and and it worked, and did the trick, so which was quite amazing. But I would never bother putting sand into PVA just to put on an ordinary wall that you've got to skim. Only if you really need some extra on something. But other than that, yeah, I mean, yeah, I just wouldn't use any gritted additive that you put onto a wall that's got grit in it if you're just going to be skimming it. I absolutely don't see the point in it. But some guys have been brought up on using, like younger guys, on using the different coloured grits and SBR and all the rest of it, so they kind of swear by it and they go, "Oh, PVA, isn't that a bit kind of cheapskate?" But that's all we used to have, and it's always done me proud, and it's cheap. So yeah, I will always sing the praises of cheap PVA. As long as it's not off, you've got to double check the date sometimes, because there's nothing worse. It does not happen that often if you take the lid off some PVA and it smells. If it's gone, it smells absolutely disgusting. You'll know it's gone off as soon as you stick your nose over the hole when you take the lid off. But that is rare. So I did buy a 5 litres of it in Wicks, about 6 months ago now, and I didn't bother checking the date on it because it's not normally a problem. And I got to the job and I took the lid off. Oh, and then it blew my head off. It's like smelling salts. But and yeah, I've forgotten what the question was now. I think I've answered it. Yeah, don't bother putting grit or sand in it if it's just for skimming over an internal wall. Just neat PVA, let it dry, and then go for it. And let me know how you get on. Yeah, no worries, Paul. No worries. Well, exactly. Yeah, now blue grit's not cheap. None of these additional things are cheap. I noticed how they kind of try and stitch people up, the companies, when before show public customer. If there's any customers out there you want to ask any questions, feel free. But they first started inventing paint for new plaster, and or a sealer for new plaster, which is again just a glorified flipping down PVA of some description, and it was 50 quid, 5 litres, might have been 10 litres, 50 quid, really? And this was years ago. I'm thinking, so I'd say to my customers that if you use watered down emulsion to seal the plaster, a few coats of that so it can soak in a bit before you start putting it on neat, but don't go wasting your money on the sealants that cost 50 quid a tub, because you're just throwing your money away. I mean, if you've got it to waste, fair enough, but it's crazy. Oh dear. How are we doing? What's the time? 19:44. Very good. Yeah. What else was I asking? Yeah, is there any of you other guys at Yeagle keeping busy? I have noticed that work does seem to have been absolutely no problem whatsoever. No one's using rated people or check a trade or trust a trade at the moment, apart from guys who are already committed for the year. But yeah, I mean, while work is coming in, you don't really want to be paying to get work. Oh. It's really odd after my trowel smooth. Yeah, no, if you trowel up a wall enough, it won't be a complete matte finish. You will get a bit of a sheen on it, which is normal. I mean, multi-finish doesn't shine up that well. To be honest, Ceropipe finish, which I don't think they make it anymore. When you put that on a wall, you used to be able to, and if you polish that by keep troweling it, it would literally look like it had been varnished. It was so shiny. I used to do it just because it used to impress customers. Wow, look at that! I can see my face in it. Yeah, and I never really had any decorators come at me and go, "Flipping hell, mate! I really had to sand that before I could paint it." So I don't think it's a big deal. not for a good decorator, anyway. But yeah, no, you'll only get a matte finish, Paul, if you if you did your last few trowels with a plastic speed skim and then left it under that. But initial really good with a plastic speed skim. Yeah, it will dry matte, but you might have issues with it. Only time I have done that is if it's been on a really high ceiling that I've been struggling to get coated up, and I've been using a speed skim from the floor on a very long pole to go over. But normally after I've done that on any ceiling or wall, I'll go over it with my flexible trowel, which will put a slight sheen on the plaster. It's normal. Yeah, don't anticipate a matte finish. Skims. Let's talk Tyzac trowels. I got one in the garage, funny enough, which my father-in-law. Oh, is this any good to you? He's 90. That's why. Is this any good to you? Oh, I found this old Tyzac trowel in me garage, and it's a bit rusty because it's a proper carbon trowel. But yeah, I've had that off him, so I'll give that a clean up and try it out on a few of my jobs. How's that trowel? Personally, I favour it over Marshalltown. Yeah. My first trowel when I was learning, I think it was a Spear and Jackson or a Tyzac. I think one company bought out the other before Marshalltown, but then after that, people were kind of up, and it was quite a short, stumpy one. And as soon as I moved on to I wanted a bigger trowel because I'd seen other guys using bigger trowels and looked like, oh, you can put more on with a bigger trowel, which isn't technically always true. But and I moved up to a Marshalltown, and I've just been in Marshalltowns most of my career. So, but see, I've got this old Tyzac that I got off my father-in-law, so I think it's worn in, but a bit rusty. So I'll clean it off and give it a go. Mike, hello, Mike. Have your WhatsApp? Oh yeah, hello, mate. I did send you a message back on that, basically saying if you go to my website, Mike, plasterer.org.uk, it's the same name as my channel. There's you can WhatsApp me straight from there. There's a if you're doing it on the phone, there's a WhatsApp link on the bottom. Just click on that and you can WhatsApp me. Yeah, I don't know if it comes up on a computer, but it definitely comes up on your phone. So if you do that, and yeah, tell us about this trowel of yours, mate, because it sounds. I'm intrigued. If it's any good, mate, I will plug it. Oh, if I get a free one. Right. Yeah, no worries, Paul. Good luck, mate. Norman, hey, all right, mate. Can you talk through your process when doing window reveals or anything with the bead on? Maybe my experience, but sometimes I get a bow in the centre. Are you just talking about skimming, Norman? So like the original plaster there, or plasterboard, put a bead on. Literally, how you're putting the stuff onto the onto the reveal. I basically tend to go from the top against the window, lay the stuff on across to the bead. So you go from the window across and into the bead from the top, work my way down, and then I'll go along the bottom, take my trowel up from the bottom to the top, and then take my trowel from the top down to the bottom. Yeah, I mean, if anytime you have to be careful is if you've got a really worn-in trowel and you're doing that. If your trowel's fairly square, when you do the running up or running down, you just have to make sure that your corner of your trowel is sitting really nicely into the window frame without scratching it, mind. As you draw it up, so it keeps it nice and flat. Or you could use a plastic float. I don't, but you could. Once you put your skim on there, because the plastic float's more rigid, you can put that. And a new one is best because it's nice and square. Once you've coated it up, put the plastic float at the bottom, drag it up, and again at the top, drag it down, keep a bit of an angle on it, so don't scrape it all off. And that'll get that nice and flat, and then just leave it alone until it's picking up and you can go back over it with your second coat or putting your water on it and getting ready to finish it off. But that way you shouldn't get any bowing in it, Norm. Yeah, nice to hear from you, Norman. Hope it's all going well, mate. Other than that, I've recently, for anyone that doesn't know, these all go out as podcasts afterwards, and it started off quite slow because these are quite long, aren't they? But it seems quite a few people are listening to them here and abroad as well. America, Canada, Ireland, Scotland. Some other places as well, but and there's one of me and Norman. Let's Talk Plastering, I think it's called, and me and him are chatting about this particular job that I'd done. That's on there as well. Actually, it should be on here also as a video, but it's on the podcast wherever you get your podcast. Just look for Ask the Plasterer and listen to them at work and enjoy all the banter and all the things that you could possibly learn from Ask the Plasterer and friends. I might call it that now because you guys are so regular, which is fantastic, and I love it. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. And yeah, Ask the Plasterer and friends. Yay. Right, where are we? Anybody? Norman, Rodney. I know you're a plasterer. What about painting and decorating? Do you do any work doing that if your client wants work done? If I've got time, or if I'm not busy plastering wise, and it's something fairly straightforward and it's my own plastering, and they want it painted, quite a few people do ask. When I can, and if I feel like I want to, I will. So yeah, and if it's plastering that you've done, you know where you're at with it. But if you're, I won't just take on decorating some other job that's been plastered. I'll leave that for the decorators. But yeah, if a client wants painting done, if I'm doing a little bathroom ceiling, they're saying to me, "Could you paint it?" then obviously I'll pay me have to come back and do it when it's dry. But if that'll fit into my schedule because things are quiet. But of course, if it's really busy and you've got plastering booked up, and you haven't allowed time to start, going back on the job and painting it, then no. Yeah, just have to work it around whatever your workflow is. So, Rodney, DMA plastering. Hello, guys. Right, have you ever done much site work in your time? Years back, it was all site work before I didn't go domestic. I was doing site work for I don't know how many years, to be honest. At least 15 years, just site work and working for different builders and building companies. Um, I think one of the first ones I worked for was called Perfectionist Plastering, which is a really risky name to have as a company, which you're asking for some callback on that one. Perfectionist Plastering, I was going to work for them. They're based over in Romford, and I'm like in a different part of London. Most of their jobs were sort of central London, and one of their jobs was refurb of Pentonville Prison. That was, I think I've spoken about it on some of the other Arthur Plasterers. That was a nightmare of a job. But the first time I did the refurb with them on that, it was on day work, so it wasn't a problem. Second time it was on price work, and that was a problem because you had to knock out 3 cells in neat sand and cement with no additive at all and no lime. You had to knock out 3 cells in a week to make any money. So yeah, didn't enjoy that one. But yeah, oh, wow. And yeah, worked for lots of different building companies. Worked at going back away, Green Park Hotel. It's a massive hotel. I assume it's still called Green Park Hotel. I don't know. And that's the first place I saw guys using ridiculously long. Yeah, it must have been flooring trowels at the time, skimming walls because there was these massive long corridors. The only problem with that on that particular site, I stuck my tools in on the top floor. This is a massive hotel in London, in the lift shaft, in the top lift shaft on the top of a hotel, and they got nicked. So, that was a flipping inside job. Must have been. That's a bit gutting when that happens. But other than that, my experience is working on sites and for builders. I mean, back in the day before everything went kind of like dry lining, if there was any developments going up, whether it was houses, flats, offices, there was a stage where the plasterers are coming in, and you just go to the site and say, when do you need the plasterers, mate? Or have you started on the plastering? And they would literally go, oh, are you plasterer, mate? Yep, we've started. When you start tomorrow, and you can literally walk onto the site and get a job more or less instantly, which was bloody lovely, to be honest with you. And on massive sites as well, you didn't have to kill yourself because there's so many guys just all over the shop doing whatever section the foreman had said, can you start bashing that out? And then you just kind of leave you alone for the day. Not on all the jobs, some of them were a bit of a nightmare. But worked for some building company doing, I think he was a racehorse owning Arab guy, and this is back in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And the place that we were working on then, he cost him about £11 million, which then was like, it would just be ridiculous money. There was like a hotel, absolutely huge, beautiful place. But he was just wanting to get it done because there was some race meeting on, and he wanted all his friends and whoever, business associates, to be able to come and stay there while the racing was on. And then I don't know if he hardly ever used the place after that. But anyway, I digress. That was all, part of. I probably remember other things, but I won't bore you with them now. But as and when I think of things from site work days, I'll tell you about them. But there came a point where I could earn more money doing domestics, and it was easier work, and you were in and out of the jobs more quickly rather than getting stuck on a site. I mean the camaraderie and working with teams of guys was nice, but you do at some point kind of get used to working on your own. It's nice to have company sometimes to survive. But that's a really long answer to a short question. Yeah, I have had lots of working on sites experience, but I've been doing domestics for also at least 15 years. Been at the whole game for nearly 37 years now, and I think it probably has been about half and half. Anyway, stop wafting now. Answer some more questions. Norman, brainwashed, James. When skimming Artex walls, would you bond and your sealing? Use the half time on your bonding so you can Yeah, James, if the size of a ceiling, I knew I could get the bonding on fairly pronto, and I'd have to be hanging about for it, I would stick half time in it. If it's a fairly big ceiling, I won't bother because I don't want to end up having to rush to do it, to get it up there and get it flat. But yeah, any smaller ceilings, smaller walls, if they're going to have a coat of bonding over them, I will shove some half time in just to whiz it up, because there's been occasions I did a little patch up job for someone a little while ago, and I don't think I had any half time with me. I had lots of extra time, and I thought, it'll be fine. And it took hours and hours to go off. It was only the size of a flip back behind a radiator somewhere. And I went and had lunch as well, and I came back and it was still too wet. You could stick your fingers in it. I don't know, too much natural retardant in it with radial, or just unlucky. But yeah, any small areas, the old half time is lovely. All your question was you bond and skim. But yeah, I do exactly the same on the wall, mate, as on the ceiling. Yeah, bond it, PVA it, bond it. As soon as it's gone enough, skim it. And if I'm having to go back on the wall the next day, then I will heat PVA it the next day to kill the suction, and then skim it. And then no problems whatsoever. Zoltar, hello, mate. Have you just got here? I'm saying that you might have been on the screen for quite a while, mightn't you? Great, I'm waffling tonight. Painting, night work. So, don't go bead first. No. Sorry, Norman, going back to you. No, yeah, I'll go from the window frame towards the bead, work it into the bead. Primatata versus extra time, old school versus new tech. The only thing, I mean, going back before I started using any of the Easy Mix stuff, I wasn't an advocate of ad mixes. I hadn't used them. Didn't really see the point of it. I could knock up a 2-bag mix, which is all most I'd ever knock up on my own anyway, which I could lay on without having to slow it down. But I use it now so I can chill a bit and just go a bit slower. Don't get any more done. Which, I mean, you could get more done if you're using it, properly. Oh, yeah, I can put on a third wall. But now I just still think, you know what? I just want to take it easy on this next set. So, yeah, I'll stick some extra time in it. And a half time. Yeah, when it comes to like doing any kind of patching with bonding that you want to skim over fairly quickly, then the half time is brilliant. They have to be a little bit careful you don't put too much of that in if you're knocking up a small amount. So I knocked up a little bit in a normal bucket. I just put a bit of a sprinkle of half time in it. I thought, well, I won't overdo it. I don't think I got it half of it out of the bucket before it went. But yeah, as long as you measure it properly, you're putting in the sachets to the right amount of water. It's a lot more reliable on always getting time the same. Extra time more or less gives you an hour, and it's always going to give you an hour extra on a set. Whereas the Primatata, how much you put in, how well it might work. Dirty water thing, which I used to do. Sometimes the dirty water worked fantastic for making something go off quick. Other times I put it in and it almost seemed like it slowed it down. So, yeah, from the chemical perspective, it's just more tried and tested, as in, right, if I put this in, I know I've got this amount of time with it. It'll take minutes really, but generally, you can time it like that, and rather than hazarding a guess with using other methods, the olden day methods. But so yeah, I've become an advocate of the old Easy Mix, which is why I plug it for the guys, and obviously, I get plenty of Easy Mix then as well. Keep them at me, they keep me at me. It's all good. Yeah, I'm waiting for their second. They've got an advert on at the minute on fixed radio, builders radio, which I never knew existed until about a month ago. It's pretty good as it goes. If I could listen to it all day, every day. And they've got an advert on there, and I've written them and produced another advert, which hopefully, if they think the first one's been worth the money, they're going to use my advert. So when that's on there, I'll let you know, and you'll have to listen to Fixed Radio, even if it's just to hear my advert once. Anyway, I'm digressing again, going off on a tangent. Done that one. Eddie, I painted my last job, Eric. Nice one. Glad I did. It gave my right shoulder a break. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I have painted my own plastering for a customer, because I've had the time to go, I can paint it afterwards. It has been nice just to have a change. I did a massive hall stairs and landing for a customer. Well, I did the whole house in the end. But and they said, "Oh, I think that work was okay, but it wasn't flooding in." And they said, "Oh, the decorators." I said, "Oh, what the decorator charge? What was his price to paint all this once it's all been plastered? You paint your new plaster, guys. Let's face it, it's not difficult." And I said, look, as long as it wasn't stupidly cheap, I said, whatever his price was, I'll do it for a bit less. So I got that job and I did it, and it was great. I think I've done quite a bit of decorating for them since. But and it gives you a nice break from the spreading. But if you don't, if you're really busy with spreading, then just stick with the spreading. But it's nice, Eddie, as you say, to give the old joints a rest, mate, because doing that with a paintbrush is a lot easier. Absolutely. Skim as you see. Rodney, what is it like being your own boss working for yourself? I would never go back to working for a boss, no matter how tough plastering's ever become, like during the recession times and stuff. And my missus, I think, then would say, "Oh, can you try and get a proper job?" I don't think she can. You get a proper job, babe, because you know what you'll be getting every month then. And yeah, babe, but they don't pay very well. I don't know if it will come around before. And I'd worked for bosses in the past. Obviously, I mean, when I was working for building companies, you're kind of working for a boss there, and have your ups and downs for them. But prior to that, I did chefing, cooking for 2 years, I think, when I was cool. Yeah, did a bit of work in McDonald's, and I went and did some chefing. Got a sitting guilt in the old cooking. Done it, man, and I didn't do it for that long. But for the amount of time I did do it, and obviously working for someone else, it was horrible. Going to the same place every day, being beholden to someone else. I mean, your only boss, especially when you're doing domestics, is just your customer that day, or for those couple of days, or for that week, and then you're moving on to another new boss. So you haven't got to put up with a miserable boss. One of them might be miserable, but they're not going to be your boss permanently. So I would never look back at not being self-employed. Obviously, it's a kind of a jump you take if you have got a job where you're on the cards, or you've got a governor. But I've loved working for myself, and once you get used to being your own boss, you don't want anyone else telling you what to do. Not long term, anyway. Apart from the wife. Used to that. So that helps, mate. Rodney. DMA plastering. I asked because I'm going back to site work soon. Oh, okay. I had enough of domestics. So I'm being, as it's too much stress running my own jobs. Definitely won't be going on price work, day work. If you can get day work, working on site, then and it's a reasonable price, and they're happy with what you're knocking out for the days that you're doing, then great. I don't know how you must have really either run yourself ragged doing domestics, or taking on other guys that you're having to worry about to get the stress issue going on, mate. But you don't want to go back to your site. But yeah, no, I've always found domestics a breeze compared to not compared to site work, but as I say, site work's just, well, for me, just not what it was back then. When they started going on sites, and rather than them saying to me, "Oh yeah, mate, the plasterers are starting next week," just crack on. They just assumed you were a plasterer if you said you were. They didn't kind of like go, where's your papers or anything like that. Though I did have a CIS card at the time. And I've gone off on a tangent. And it was good then. But then suddenly it was kind of like, oh no, we're stopping all this wet trades. Everything's being dry lined, taped and jointed because it's quicker. That's a joke. Sorry. I know, and going off at a tangent again, I know spray plastering seems to be quite a thing at the minute, but I was watching one of Blaine's videos on the spray plastering, and it's a kind of coating, but yeah, no thanks. I think I'll stick to traditional, and I don't think spray plastering is going to take over the world, if I'm honest. So hey, yeah. Oh, Matthew, love a bit of fixed radio. Yeah, yeah. The Easy Mix advert they've got on there at the minute, Matt, is or Bucky, or whatever you be called, is sort of like still on the old football, and like, oh, half time, extra time, and blah blah, and it's meant to emphasise that Easy Mix, or our Easy Mix here, is got a Z in it, because obviously there's other companies called Easy Mix, but with an S and not Z. But yeah, keep listening, and hopefully my advert will be they're next in their campaign. You'll know it when you hear it, because you'll recognise my dulcet tones, unless they get another guy to completely redo it. But it won't sound as good. Anyway, JT, yeah, really good, thanks, mate. I cannot complain. Busy boy. Life's fairly good at the moment, though I have made a bit of a boo-boo in me. I've got a birthday party for my little granddaughter in my back garden. It's Thursday, and the grass is it's not very green, a bit patchy. So I thought I'll buy some stuff that makes it grow quicker or goes greener, and like little pellet kind of stuff. No smell to it, nothing like that. And I sprinkled about 25 kilos of this stuff all over the grass. And the next day, my missus went, "What is that smell?" And cut a long story short, it smells a bit like the tide's gone out in a dock somewhere. It's a bit like, oh, it's not terrible, but it's not nice. And I'm hoping and praying that I think it's eased off pretty much. I've been watering it to death to try and make it soak in. So hopefully it'll all be good by Thursday, even though it's meant to rain anyway and probably stuck indoors. But yeah. Friday. What's every Friday? Have you seen the plastering show on? Oh, yeah, I did. I watched one of the plastering shows online. That old what's his face DIY Chris Thingy Jiggy Bob. Yeah, I know his name when I see it. Yeah, that he does, and that was quite good. And yeah, I've listened to that, and also they've got no, we're not carpenters. They got a carpentry show on there with Robin Clevitt. Robin, really nice guy, really successful chippy, a really bloody good chippy. And he did some work for me and a mate of mine, cut up and put up a whole roof back when it was early 20s, the same as we were at the time. And I knew he'd do well. I didn't know he'd do quite as well as he has. But yeah, and he does the carpentry show on there, Robin Clevitt. And he's got a great station as well, a great YouTube channel. Want to look that up, guys? Robin Clevitt, carpentry. Does a lot of other stuff as well, but he doesn't cut corners on anything, and I've never seen him not do a job, no matter what it is. He's kind of like, yeah, on it. I wish I could be that. Yeah, the plastering is not so much to it. I mean, it's an art form. Let's not forget that plastering is an art form. But as a carpenter, there's so many more things you could do. And on sites as well, it turned out most of the foremen used to be carpenters. It seems to be a progression in that part of the world. Yeah, I've got noticed sometimes on the old fixed radio show, it's a bit not the anthems thing isn't too bad, but I think it must be times when they think no one's listening because it's been terrible. But I won't knock it. Yeah, it makes a nice change to listen to. I listen to LBC a hell of a lot when I'm at work. Of course, you can listen to LBC, you can listen to fixed radio, any other radio stations you like, or the podcast of this and all the other ones we've done before this. Why not? Help pass the time away, get your old earbuds in, find Ask the Plasterer or wherever you get your podcasts. Definitely get it on Spotify, I know that for sure. And and have a listen at your leisure without having to sit in front of your phone. Right, how are we doing for time? Fastest time. 8:15. If needs be, I think we'll go on for about another 15 minutes, guys, and then we'll call it a night. But yeah, we've got. Do you like that? That's my. Have you noticed my flying car there? Look at that. I've been blind not to have noticed it. It's been repeating itself for the last hour and 15 minutes. Let's have a change of scenery. Well, before I come off of this screen, don't forget you can ring in if you want on 07516 214 983. 07516 214 983. Yeah, so peeps, don't forget, join us on the old community up there, or Stuart and me and other guys on Trout Talk, which is an amazing Facebook page, and these are for helping everybody when plastering is concerned, whether you're a novice or time served or a DIYer. These sites will be there to help you out. Banter's one thing. Slagging off people's work is something we don't do, and you won't get that on here. And if you do get any of that on there, it'll be taken down, and the guys that do it will be taken off. So Trout Talk is a plasterers help group, but not just plasterers. Oh, just plasterers, but you know what I mean, DIYers and all the rest of it, and novices, and you won't get taken out of you. And there's no stupid questions, basically, at the end of the day, when it comes to asking anything about plastering. What else? I'm assuming you've seen me a video about whether plastering's gonna last. Don't forget, guys, when it comes to joining the old Ask the Plasterer community, thingy jiggy bob, that's the thingies are down in the description. There's a link. Click on that, and it will invite you to the community server, which is a Discord site, and you just follow the instructions on there. There's only a couple, and Bob's your uncle. You're in. You chat to me or any of the other guys that are on there, and the more people we get on there, the busier that will become. But it's nice to have a bit of a chat on there. Trout Talk only on Facebook. Yeah, Stuart, who runs it, he has got a YouTube channel, and actually, it'd be nice to get his channel up to 1,000 subscribers on there. If you haven't subscribed to Stuart's channel, then I suggest you do that. Should be links to Stuart's channel in the in Trowel Talk as well. Yeah, a lot of his videos on there are from his channel, so you can just click on one of his videos and then go to his channel and subscribe, and get Stuart up to 1,000, because that helps with stuff in general. You can't do it unless you've got 1,000 subscribers to the channel, which would be good. There's about the Trowel Talk is growing really well. It wasn't that long ago it was 1,000, then it was, and now it's well over 3,000 guys and girls on there, helping each other out when it comes to plastering, which is what Ask the Plasterer is all about at the end of the day, is helping each other out, helping out the novices, helping out the customers. If I mean, I've not yet had a customer type anything up or sort of ask me a question, even if it is, you know, how much should this take? How much do you charge? How much do guys charge in general? Or anything really. But if there are any potential customers out there that want to ask a question, feel free to type it up on the screen at any time, or to or ring in. But Trowel Talk as the Facebook page is, it's only on Facebook, but there's links to other stuff. Right, guys, I think I might call it a night and just finish a teeny bit earlier. Everyone still feels refreshed and lovely, and the podcast for this one won't be too long. For the people that, I suppose they enjoy listening to them, don't mind the fact that they're long, and they're quite easy to listen to. You haven't got to look at my mug for the whole duration. There was funny, when you talk about female plasterers, when I was doing my learning apprenticeship, call it what you want, there was a girl there. I have to admit, the other guys couldn't take her. It was difficult to take your eyes off her because it was just nice to have a female there, and because she was the only one, she was a lovely girl as well, and a good spread. Well, up to the point where we left there, and obviously I never saw her again. But yeah, and there were quite a few women spreads out there that seem to do a fairly pucker job. I mean, I don't mean the ones that are doing a little bit of DIY and video edit. I mean the ones that are proper spreading, and can probably put a few guys to shame. So yeah. Matthew, sorry, Matthew, what's that? We got his come on there, but I'm not. Come across, right? Yeah. So come across a few, but they are fairly rare. I mean, let's face it, it is fairly physically demanding, but then some women are very physically fit, you know. So, right, guys, I'm gonna love you all and leave you. Thanks for coming along, all the regulars. Thanks, guys, fantastic. Anyone that's new, fantastic. Thanks for coming along. I'm going to be back here Monday after next from 7 o'clock for Ask the Plasterer. Hoping to get some more videos bashed out. As I say, I'm doing a DIY series at the moment, and I want to get that all put together and put the whole thing out, the whole lot out in one go. Well, more or less in one go. Probably put one out each day. They're all part of a series. But some other stuff will crop up that I'll be able to film that is interesting and not something that's been done before that you might have seen a million times and think, I don't think I'm going to bother watching that. If I can do anything else that's very exciting and get it up there, then I will, as soon as I possibly can. I'll put up anything I can think of that might be interesting. And I'm pretty sure you'll tell me if it's not. So, with no more said, I'm going to go and, as usual, have my dinner. And forward to seeing all you guys a fortnight's time, or on the Discord site, community, or maybe even on Trowel Talk. Or if you ever need to, you can email me on erictheplasterer@gmail.com. This is Eric the Plasterer who still can never find the button. I should stick a little red dot on my screen, shouldn't I? When it's time to finish, Eric, just there it is. Just press on that one. Studio, and then button there should do the trick. Right, guys, thanks again, yeah, I will see you in the next one.